Bargain Bead Boxes, Boughs and Berries. So this is a beautiful necklace and it's basically a twisted pattern. So this is what we're going to be making. It's a half hitch knot constantly going over. So it's just a repeating pattern constantly. So we've got, as you can see, bead in the centre. So you've got half hitch knots going up both sides and then another bead, and then you've just got a knot on either side, and then on the ends you've just got another bead. So basically the beads we are going to be using are 10mm rose quartz matte round beads for the centre and the two ends, and then on the end we're going to be using a 6mm matte glass round bead in hollyberry. So they are the two beads we are going to be using. So we are also going to be using the tying station by Beadalon. We are going to be using 5mm in blue in CKC, and we're going to be using a 1mm CKC in silver. And just to harden the ends to get the beads on, we're going to be using some hypo cement, and we just need a pair of scissors. So that's, oh, and of course a bag so you don't get gluey fingers, always helpful. So let's turn down to the mat and get started, shall we? So time to cut the CKC. So the first one we're going to cut is the 0.5. So I'm going to do it in both inches and centimetres. So we're going to cut 140 centimetres, which is 55 inches. So let's pull that out. I'm using a soft tape measure, which I forgot to mention, I do apologise, in materials. It tends to be easier to use a soft tape measure because the length you're pulling. So that's going to be your centre core. Now, for your two sides, you're going to need 90 centimetres or 35 inches of your silver one. You're going to need that twice. So, let's pull that out. Let's get this blue one out of the way so it doesn't tangle in the other one. So I'm going to put my tape measure away and just measure off the other one to make them perfectly matched. Just move my bust off the table before I send it flying, because knowing my luck, I'd knock it, you'd hear a crash, the boom arm would go flying, the phone would go flying and everything. Because that's just my luck. It really is. So I'm just going to put them to the side for a second. And we are going to glue the ends of the blue one. You only need a small amount of glue on the ends. So if you hold your glue, and just helps if I unclog the end of the glue. There we go. Unclog the end of the glue. If you hold your glue rather than squeezing it, you don't basically get holes in your glue. And your glue will warm up. So I'm not sure if you can see this. Let me pull it up a bit. Right, you see how my glue is warming up and it's just dripping out? Because the heat from your hands, it actually warms your glue through. And then you can very lightly squeeze the end of your tube. As you can see, no, it's just the tape. You can just squeeze the end of your tube very lightly and squeeze your glue out without causing holes in your glue. Because your glue has been warmed up. That should be enough for what we need. Let me try and get the end back on this. The only problem is, once you've warmed up, it really wants to drip out. Now this is probably going to take me a few minutes, so I'm going to actually pause you, so you haven't got to watch me fight with trying to put the end back in. So now I took a good 5 minutes to put the end in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the end in there and pull it through. I'm going to do that a couple of times. Hang it off the end of the table, preferably not sticking it to myself. Do the next one. And leave them to dry. And then come back to you when they are dry, and we will start and build this necklace. So I will see you soon. So time to thread on the beads. My apologies. Right, so this bead now needs to go onto the centre of the 0.5 string, well, CKC. So put the ends together and pull it down, and then put under your one end right up against it and tighten it down. And then pull your other end down underneath your other plates. Always make sure you have your washer under your plates, well, under the wing nuts, otherwise you'll crack your plates. And tighten this down. So make sure it's nice and taut. So there we go. We've got that tightened down. Make sure your bead stays up. Now you're going to want your 90cm string, your silver one. And you are going to bring your bead all the way against your plates. You're going to have a very short bit, and you are going to tie left over right, right over left. So you're going to tie a surgeon's knot. And it is a bit fiddly because you're using a very, very short bit. So you've got a lot to work with. For the rest of the cord. Sure, you can hear my stomach growling because it's very close to dinner time here in the UK. It's like 7:15 here. So you're going to want to tighten that up really well. And then, again, you're going to want to get the glue just to put it on your knots. Just put a bit of glue on your knots. Just to make sure your knot doesn't come undone. Just get the bag just to get the excess off and try and get this in. Oh, bingo, straight in for once. Usually that takes me a good 5 minutes to get that in. So now, you are going to need a pair of cutters or a pair of scissors to clip. You really shouldn't use your cutters. Try and use a pair of scissors to clip your little excess off. It's only a tiny little bit. Preferably use like a pair of scissors or gutters. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to have your cord coming towards you or away from you in either a Q shape or a P shape. And it's always going to be in that shape. So it's going to go over the top of your cord, your centre core. And then you're going to go over top, under, through. And you're then going to pull. And you're going to make sure it's tight. You're going to keep doing that. So again, same again. And pull. And you're just going to keep repeating this. So, over your core, under, through the gap, through the loop, and pull. So, make a loop over the top of the core, under the core, through the loop, and pull. Over the top of the core, under the core, through the loop, and pull. Over the top of the core, under the core, through the loop, and pull. And just keep an even tension every time. So over the top of the core, under the core, through the loop, and pull. And just keep your hand on the centre core as you are pulling. So your tension doesn't go too tight or too loose. And you can guide it down with your thumb. It's a very simple macrame technique, but very effective. And does a very nice pattern. After I've done a few of these, I'll actually show you the spiral that it makes. I'm sure you can hear my stomach growling. I really am, because it's growling so loud to me. With Bargain Bead Box, I have a code that if you would like, you can use to get $2 off your first month's box when you sign up, which is all in capitals KLWG2, and that's for your first month's box, $2 off. I hope you're all having a wonderful day and can't wait for the weekend, because the run up to the weekend is absolutely coming very near with it. Oh, sorry, just bouncing you into the flipping atmosphere of the world with the way I'm knocking around my boom arm. So I do apologise about that. So as I was saying, I hope you're all looking forward to the weekend. Have you got anything nice planned? Have you got anything nice planned for dinner? Because I'm wondering, I don't know what I've got for dinner. I haven't planned anything yet. But I tell you what, I can't wait for my dinner. That is something I really am looking forward to tonight, because I am so hungry at the moment. So, as soon as I finish doing this, well, actually, I might end up pausing this halfway through and actually going and making dinner. I'm that hungry. So, as I'm sure you see, let me zoom you in. This sort of makes a spiral. So we start here and it's just starting to spiral round. So that's the pattern it makes. So I'm going to zoom down towards my mat so you can sort of see the technique a bit clearer, because I've realised I'm a bit far out as I'm doing this. I just realised that previous one was probably a little loose as well. See, you can tighten them up if they are a little loose before you tighten the next one. So it's always over the top, never over under, always over the top. And what you might have to do is start sort of changing your direction and do it so you're going away from you as your spiral starts to spiral over. So you see how there I've just started to change where I'm pulling my spiral, but still over the top. Trying to find a way to do this without getting my fingers all the way in the way. So you see, you can change your route of pattern. Okay. And start to, oh, don't want to do that. But I tend to prefer just to keep going the same way. So you can loosen it up a bit as you're spiralling. So you can show a bit of blue through by pulling it out a bit. But what I've done is, as you can see, I'm actually going to undo that. Because the way I've just done it, by changing my spiral pattern by going onto the other side, I'm not keen on that. I like just going all in the same direction. So I thought I'd show you what it looks like doing it by changing your pattern. So I thought I'd do a couple by showing you. Because I think it's only proper to show you what it looks like by changing your direction. By going from one side to the other. And as you can see, it's easy enough to undo. All you need is your nails, and if you haven't got nails, you can use a beading awl to do this. But I actually don't know where my beading awl is, either of them. I seem to have misplaced both of them. Which is always one of my things, misplacing my tools. I am very good at it, misplacing my tools. So I'm going to push my spiral back down because I prefer a more compact spiral. Right, so back to where we were. So that's how it looks when you're still going all the same direction. So I'm going to go back to doing it that way. So as you can see, you can change directions while still keeping it going over the top, or you can carry on going the route I'm going, where I'm just going all on the same side. Honestly, me and words, I do worry about me sometimes. And I'm sure you're wondering, oh, what the flipping heck, she's at it again. So we're going back to how we were doing it before, where we're just flipping them over, making the loop, going over the top, underneath and through, and pushing it down, making the loop, over the top, underneath and through, over the top, underneath and through the loop, and pushing it down. Over the top, make the loop over the top, underneath and through the loop, and push it down. Make a loop over the top of the core, underneath the core and through the loop, and pull and push it down. Make a loop over the top of the core underneath the core and push it down, and pull and push it down. Over the top, make the loop over the top, underneath, through the loop, and push it down. So that's basically the repeating pattern. As you can see, it spirals round. So it just makes this beautiful spiral. Beautiful necklace for both men and for women. It's a very unisex necklace. So beautiful for yourselves if you make jewellery just for yourself, or for your family, for partners, for friends, right? Or whether you sell jewellery. So it's a brilliant little pattern. You can also do this on a macrame board, on a clipboard. So you can easy enough pin it. As you can see, it's very relaxing to do. It's a lovely piece of jewellery to make. Lovely, nice technique to do. And it's a great technique for beginning jewellery makers. If you want something just to sit and do while you're watching TV, this is perfect. Because of it being a half hitch knot, you're just doing, as I said, a lovely repeating pattern. So you can sit there watching TV. I'm just looking up. I'm not even really watching what I'm doing. Right, and you can actually watch your TV program while doing this. You don't even really need to focus on what you're doing. You can have a full-blown conversation, as I am with you, my wonderful, wonderful friends, right? And you can teach your friends this and have a beading party while doing this. So it's just a truly delightful piece of jewellery to make. And it can be made in a variable size. So you can make it in a choker size like I have, which adjusts to a larger size because of it having an adjustable clasp. so you can wear it at different lengths. Oh, sorry, that went off the camera screen then. Slipping on my mat. And the next couple of stitches, I'm going to have to tie the final knot. Which I think I'm going to have to do after this stitch. Right, so now we've done all them, which comes out lovely like this. Which honestly I am going to trim if I can. No, I can't. I'll have to do it in a second. So what we're going to do is on this end, we're just going to tie a knot if we can with the end cord, which sometimes helps if you've got your tools. Because you need to get into a knot. It's a bit finicky. Especially if you've got big fingers like me. And this is where your tools come in. Just pull it through. And then get your glue out. Make sure you've got your spacing exactly where you want it before you glue it. So adjust your spacing. Adjust your spiral to where you want it. And then glue it. Glue your knots. And then put your glue away. Oh, I am doing well today, getting that glue lid on. So, now, I need to cut the excess thread away. So, just do that. Right, so that's the excess thread cut away. So now we're going to undo it at this end, and we're going to feed on another rose quartz bead. We're going to undo it at this end. So we've got both ends free and clear for now. And at the end that you've just finished doing, not the centre, the end that you've just finished doing, you are going to do an overhand knot right up against the bead. sometimes easier said than done without a beading all. So, let me zoom you out a bit. So for now, we've got a centre bead, some macrame, and another bead with a knot behind it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to get a tying station back in, and we're going to attach our beading back onto our tying station. But what we're going to do this time is we're going to take this plate off. We're going to put our macrame portion on, and we're going to put on the tying station bit with the foam padding. And put the bead right up against the foam padding. Put on the washer. Never forget the washer when you're putting any tying station plate on, because you'll crack your tying station plates when you tighten them down. And then we are going to tie the other end onto here, onto the other end. Ready to do the same as we did on the other side, which I will do off camera and come back and show you when I am finished, because I don't think you want to watch me repeat all that again on camera, because that was probably quite tedious for you, watching all this be done on camera. So what I'll do is I'm going to do it off camera, and I'll come back when I've got to come and tie this knot. So I will be back with you in a So I've done most of the other side of the necklace, but let's finish off the last few knots together. So I am just going to finish these knots. So I hope you've all been having a great day and a great evening as well, and a great morning wherever you are. And if you're already on Friday, like possibly you are if you were in Australia, which from what I can see is a beautiful place, the same with New Zealand, then I hope you have a good Friday. And again, I am going to inform you about my discount code that I have for $2 off your first box for your sign up for Bargain Bead Box, which you can get off me, which your code is, if you wish to use it, is all in capital letters, KLWG2. And it is up to you if you choose to use it. So now we are going to do the knot on the end. So I'm going to get my trusty chain nose pliers, and we are going to knot it on the end. So grab hold of it and pull it through. And do that again. We're just finishing off the last of the knots. And on the last couple of knots, on the last light knot, we are going to put some glue on. It's easier to do these knots with the chain nose pliers, because you can't really get your fingers in there to do these knots, as you saw when I was doing it last time. Right, well, I think that's the last knot that was. So let's put a bit of glue on there. Oh, nice and stringy. So a bit of glue on the knots. Let's move it down a bit. Right, now time to fight with this and get this back in. So I'm just going to wipe off the nozzle. And the thing is, it's about getting a very precision nozzle into a very slim tip. So of course you've got on this, you've got a point and a very slim nozzle, as I'm not sure if you can see. And there's a lot of glue coming out of this, which makes it even harder. I've seen some people that are brilliant at doing this on the first try. And then you've got people like me who take forever to get this back in. And I might as well show you how you get this back in while my glue's drying on me knots. So I hope you're all having an absolute perfect day, evening, lunchtime, or just day in general. So now we're going to cut the cord. So I've got this little bit of cord left. And we are going to undo this off the tying station. And what I'm going to do is this one on the end, I'm going to undo all the way. And I'm going to place my other plate back on, because that's the plate that usually lives on here, so that I can put them back in the box properly once we finish this video. So now we need another rose quartz bead. Sorry, my voice is going today. It's on its way out. So I do apologise. So now we're going to put the rose quartz bead on. And I find the hole. Come on, little hole. Stop playing hide and seek. There we go. Isn't that a good bead? Let me find the hole. Always very helpful. Alright, hold your pliers right up on the wire, well, the Chinese knotting cord, right up against the knot, right up against the bead. Pull your cord all the way down to the bead, and then push the knot, pull the pliers out and push the knot up to the bead. So there we go. So now, if I zoom you out, this is what we have. Alright. So now, we're going to get another length of the silver Chinese knotting cord. And we're going to grab the tape measure. We are going to cut 65 centimetres, which is in inches 25.5 inches. So 65 centimetres, 25.5 inches. Helps if you don't let go of the cord. Honestly, I'm doing this at, I think it's nearly 1 o'clock in the morning. Half past 1 in the morning. So somehow I think my brain might be malfunctioning. So there we go. 65 centimetres, 25.5 inches of cord. So now we are going to cross the cords over. And what I might do is zoom you in. We're going to bring the silver cords together in the middle, tip to tip, pull it down, and we're going to slip them underneath Let me move you up a bit. Right, I'm going to make a Q. I'm going to go over the top. I'm going to go under the core cords, the blue ones, through and pull. Now we're going to make a P. Go over the top, under the core cords, and through and pull. You don't want to do these too tight, but you want to do them tight enough. So that basically they can move up and down like that. So that's the first square knot. Square knots come in two parts. So you've got the first part and then you've got the second part. So you've got the P and you've got the Q. Alright, or you've got the P and then you've got the backwards P. So you've got the P. So unlike what we were doing before, when we were doing half hitch knots, which is just the first bit of the P, now we're going to be doing the full square knot. whereas the half hitch knot is only half of the square knot. Now this is the Q. There we go. There we go. We have our second square knot. So that's 2 square knots. Sorry, that off frame. There we go. We've got 3 square knots. And you can also do this during the tying station. So when I've done this one, I'll attach it to the tying station to show you how to do it on the tying station. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you how to count square knots. So, as you can see, let me focus my camera a bit better. You've got bumps on the side. So we started on this side, so you count the bumps. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 bumps. So that means we've done 4 square knots. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the tying station and show you how we attach this to the tying station to be able to do square knots using the tying station. So let me zoom you out while we attach this to the tying station, which is a lot more difficult once you've started. So what you do, you slip your cords under your plates on both sides. There's one side, and then do the other side. Right, so we've got cords tight, tighten down. So as you can see, we've got them on the tying station as we did with it when we were making this bit of the necklace. So now we're going to again make the P. Let me pull you down. To make the P, go over the cord, go underneath your core cord and through the loop and up and pull and pull. Right, now do your backwards P. Over the top of the core, over the top of the core, under the core cords and through the loop and pull. So as you can see, it basically does the same thing as what we were doing when we got it on the mat. But to be honest, it's actually a little bit easier. You can do this no matter what size your macrame is, because the plates move. The plates move in, they move out. So even if you've got a small bit to macrame, you can move it to the size that you actually need, which is the wonderful thing about the time station. It does some wonderful things. Another thing I'll show you about the time station after I've done this full square knot is, I'm sure you noticed on the time station, is that there's holes. So you'll see on this one and on this one, there are holes. They are for doing earrings. It's a wonderful thing about the Beadalon time station. You can do earrings, you can do necklaces, you can do bracelets, you can do keychains, purse dangles, bag charms. You can do absolutely anything on here. It's a wonderful bit of equipment to own, and I would always advise it. And I'm just double checking that I did a full knot there, which I'm not sure if I did. Yes, I did. I did a full knot there. You know, when you're talking, you can't remember if you've done a full knot or not. So I was just counting my bumps. This is why counting your bumps is helpful. But another way you can see is, I don't know if you can see it, is you've got like little V's. So, as Sarah Lovecraft would say, you've got a little bum and two legs. So I do apologise if that offends anyone, but it's true. It is a little bum and two legs. I can see it very well, and I love that saying. It's absolutely wonderful. I think it's great. Honestly, it is the best thing ever. I love the way she sees that. And I hope you can see it too, and I hope you enjoy that one. And I would advise you go and have a look at Sarah Lovecraft's channel, because she makes some of the most amazing jewellery ever. She really does. She is such a talented designer and maker of jewellery. So please go and have a look at Sarah Lovecraft's channel. She is really, really a talented designer and jewellery maker. So let's count how many we've done. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've done 10. So that's really the amount I wanted to do. Let me double check. Have I got my lighter in here? Yes, I have. I do apologise about bouncing you about, but I needed to grab my lighter to seal off this when I cut it. So what we're going to do now, we're going to cut this just slightly shy. And we're going to take it off time station. Now what we're going to do, we're going to get the lighter. Oh, we're going to only have 9 knots because I cut it a little close. So I'm going to basically put the lighter to it, but not set it on fire. That's a little long to light with the... Right, and again. Right, so that's that bit done. I hope that was on camera. So now we're going to do these ends. So we're going to pull this tight. Pull that all the way down, and I'm going to pull you out a bit. So now we're going to do the ends. So we're going to put a bead on. And put the other bead on before tying the knot. So now we're going to grab both ends, hold it out, and we're going to mark where we want the beads. So I'm going to mark them about there. I'm going to tie a knot. Then allow the bead to go down. Now we need to tie the other knot in the same place. So we need to keep the whole thing level. There we go. They should be reasonably close. So now, bringing you back in, we're going to trim the ends. Just double checking that they're actually reasonably close by dangling them down, which I think they are. So give me 2 seconds. Yes, I've got them nearly bob on. Right, so we're going to trim the ends. Going to hold this one right where the knot is and trim it. Then we're going to get the lighter and just melt the ends slightly, stop them fraying. So that in the entirety is this necklace. So what I'm going to do is I am going to turn you up and show you this necklace on the bust. Okay, so I will see you up there in a minute so you can see what it looks like. See you in a second. So here is the necklace that was made while you were watching today. As you can see, we've got a beautiful spiral pattern with the soft rose quartz matte round beads in there that are 10 mil. And then on the ends, we have the wonderful 6 mil matte glass round beads in Hollyberry from the Boughs and Berries Bargain Bead Box, which, if I remember rightly, was December's kit. Isn't it such a beautiful necklace for such a simple technique? It's so beautiful. You can, of course, make the cords here a lot shorter, right? But if you are selling your designs the idea is to sort of measure the length of this and sort of ask how long people want these cords, and then you can always shorten them when you sell it for people to then have it at the length they want. So it's very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a very flexible necklace, because some people like the beads trailing down the backs, others don't. So like men aren't so keen on it. Some women love it, some women don't. It's a very flexible necklace and a very flexible design. You can also make this bit longer if you would like. You can sort of cut more than 90 centimeters, 35 inches. But the way it's designed, as you can see on the bust, it sits just right at the front. Or if I tighten it, if you give me a second, it sits right up at the neckline as a choker, with the other two beads right at the back, right where the macrame is. So the square knot macrame. And then you just have this other macrame at the front. So it is very dexterous, this necklace, and very flexible in its design. And then, as you can see, you have the beads that dangle all the way down the back down your back when you have it like that. So it just depends on who buys the necklace and what they buy it for. So it is a lovely flexible necklace, because you can wear it in so many design senses. But also, on saying that, if I do it a slightly different way, let me make, say, the bead shorter at the back. So give me a second. So it's like I've made the bead shorter at the back, and you've got like a lovely long line necklace. So it works several ways. If you could please like, comment, share and subscribe and hit the notification bell, I would be grateful. And thank you again for coming to watch today. And again, I will see you soon with another tutorial. So thank you for watching. I am so grateful. And bye-bye for now. That's all I can say. See you again soon, friends. Bye.